Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this dress, an illustration of the dress. Guys, the dress is very easy to make. So first thing you're going to need is a fabric that is very light, not Akara fabric. You need a fabric that will drape. To go ahead and fold your fabric into two. How you're going to get the width you use here is your hip divided by 4 plus, like let's say extra 3 inches might be too small. So I would advise you, depending on the length you want it to be, so go up to your shoulder, right? You're going to do your shoulder measurement divided by 2. My shoulder from one end to the other is 16. Divided by 2 is going to be, divided by 2 is going to be 8. Right? And then I'm going to add the length I want this sleeve to be. Whether you want it to come down up to here, whether you want it to come down and drape even more, because this is like a kimono, you're going to add it to it. So let's say you also want the sleeve length to be 8. Then you need to add at least plus 1 inch of folding the edge, right? 1 inch of folding this edge. So that will be 9. So 9 plus 8 will be the width of this dress. So that will be about 17, right? So now you're going to go ahead. That's why I said not to use your hip, because let's say now if I decided to use my hip is 48 divided by 4 is going to be 12, right? And then I'm going to do plus, like let's say extra 3 inches, depending on how free you want it to be. That's including my seam allowance and all. So that will be 15. That means it will shorten my sleeve by almost 2 inches. So that's why it's better for you to use your shoulder. First, divide your shoulder by 2. Whatever you get, add the length of the sleeve plus 1 inch of folding the edge. Whatever you get, that will be the width of your fabric on a fold, right? So guys, you are going to go ahead and cut out this for the front panel and cut out the second one for the back panel. So you cut out 2 of this on a fold. So if my first fold is this length, I'm going to cut something that looks like this twice. All right, so now the next thing you're going to do is to go ahead and mark your shoulder divided by 2. Like I said, my shoulder from one point to the other is 16 divided by 2 is 8, and then plus my sleeve length, which is 1 inch of folding the edge, right? So this is where my sleeve is going to stop. And then after that, the next thing I'm going to do is to come in here again and put in my neck width of 3, and then I'm going to also come down here and mark 1 inch, just like that. And then the next thing is to go from one point here, and then what you're going to insert here is, instead of your armhole, because you know how we calculate our armhole length, like we use your bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5, so that would land you somewhere here. But if you want your armhole to be as open as her own, go ahead and come down even 1 more inch below that, you understand? So whatever you get, which is, so the next thing you're going to do is your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5, and then whatever you get, add 1 inch to it and come down, because you will see that her armhole is quite open, right? This is just a free dress. Come down even 1 more inch further. So once you've marked that, so let's say mine is at this point now, right? My normal armhole would have been here, added 1 inch to it, is now here. After that, place back my tape at the top. Mark my shoulder to my waist, which is somewhere here at 17.5. My shoulder to my hip, which is somewhere here at 25.5. And then the next thing you're going to do is your dress length. So let's say my dress length is somewhere at this point. All I have to do now is to come up here at my bust, because this armhole line now is going to be my bust line. This is going to be my waist line. This is going to be my hip line. This is my dress length. So I'm going to come to this bust line now, and I'm going to insert my bust divided by 4, which is 42. I'm going to add 2 inches to it. Guys, it depends on you how free you want this dress to be, but if you look at it, you see her own is not that loose. So I will do 1 inch of ease and 1 inch of seam allowance. Except you use more than 1 inch for your seam allowance, then you can do 1 inch for your ease, and then maybe 1.5 for your seam allowance, whatever you normally use. And then you're not marking anything on the waist, because the elastic is what will put the waist together. You skip and come down to the hip. Hip divided by 4 plus extra 1 inch of ease, and then 1.5 of seam allowance, whichever one you use. The same measurement you have here, everything in total, bring it down to the end of the dress. So it's just to connect from here to here in a straight line. You see, use a straight line to connect from here to the end of your dress, whatever it is, 54, 56, wherever the dress is going to end. And then from this part now, you're going to connect from the bust to this part. It's going to look like you're making an A line, right? Connect it here, just like this. And that is how you're going to, you see the shape of the dress now, guys. It goes like an angle here and then connects to your hip all the way down. The next thing you're going to do is on the armhole part. This is where the length of our sleeve was supposed to be, somewhere here, just like this. What I'm going to do now, if you notice, I've not done 1 inch of shoulder slope. People normally do that, but if you look at her sleeve, you see that it's quite open, right? If I take away 1 inch here, it will close up my sleeve even more. But if you want it to close up a little bit, because when she raises up her armhole, you can see almost like the side from underneath her arm. So if you want to avoid that, you don't want to create exactly what she has, like you want yours a little bit closed up by the sleeve, come down 1 inch of shoulder slope. This is a normal thing most times when making kimono. But guys, even if you omit it, I've done it several times, like not taking away this 1 inch of shoulder slope, it still doesn't affect my kimono. My kimono still looks good. After that now, if you decide to do the 1 inch still, right, what you're going to do is just to connect it. From that 3 inches of neck width, you're going to connect it all the way to this shoulder slope, right? The reason why I don't like to do this most times, if I want the opening of my sleeve to be open, to be wide, is that, remember, if I cut this off now, I'll still take away another ½ inch when I'm sewing this as my seam allowance to join the shoulder of the front and the back. That means my sleeve is now losing up to 1.5 in the opening that I have. So it's closing it up. And then at the bottom, I'll still take away another ½ inch here. So that's 2 inches gone. So whatever I'm going to have left is going to be small. So that's why I try not to even take away the one at the top, so that I will still have enough room, like the opening. So now, the next thing you're going to do most times is done in a kimono is that you're going to come in here by 1 inch. The sleeve of a kimono, you have to angle it. So you're going to take from this end now and angle it to this point. This part is always longer than the lower. Come out here by like ½ inch and then give it a curve, so this way. Come in here. So this is the line you're following. Cut here all the way to the armhole curve, all the way down. Cut the length of your dress. You cut it twice. One is 1 inch, the other one is 3 inches. You cut it out, right? So now I'm going to move over to a smaller fabric so that you guys will see it better. So this is what it looks like, guys. You see the one I made here? I didn't cut out the shoulder. This is it here. So this is my bust line, my waistline, the hip line, down to the length of the dress. Connected it all the way to this point down, and that is it. So I'm going to go ahead, cut 1 inch for the front. This is going to be the back, sorry. And then for the front, I'm going to cut 3 inches of neck width. It remains the same. So let me go ahead and cut it now. So guys, you see, I've cut out the back neckline, cut out the front 3 inches, cut out this side, everything all the way up to this way. Take that out, take this out. So now you're going to separate the back, and then this is the front. Guys, don't mind the 2 colors I'm using. It's just my scrap fabric that I have, right? So this is what you have here. So to the front now, what you're going to do is to cut the neck depth. You see how the neckline came down. So it depends on you what you want to use. Measure on yourself how deep you would want the neckline to go, and then you're going to go ahead and cut that out. So let's say you decide to do 7 inches, whatever, because you see her own came down, but you have to open it up, guys, so that your head can fit in, because this doesn't have a zipper, it doesn't have anything. It's just this opening here that will fit your head. So try to bring it down a little bit, at least anything from 6 inches. So now the next thing we are going to do is to cut the facing. If you look at her neckline, you see that there is no seam on the neck anyway. You can't find any seam because they turned it over and used a stay and iron to make it lay on top, right? So now, to like the hemming glue, the thing that helps to stick the 2 fabrics together, right? So now what you're going to do is, for the back neckline, you're going to cut out your face, to cut out something like this, just enough to fit in the neckline. You place it on top of it like this. Make sure that the edge by the center here, you notice this fabric is on a fold, right? is on a fold. So make sure that this edge here is the same. And then what you're going to do is to cut exactly the neckline that you have here. If you have a shoulder slope, insert the shoulder slope too. That's what you're using to turn it over, right? So now you're going to cut this out just like this. This is our facing here. And then make sure that you have at least 3 inches all the way around here. So you're going to go ahead and make sure you have 3 inches down here, 3 inches all the way, or at least 4 inches depending on you. So cut that out also. So now I have my facing for this here. You see? So if I turn this over now like this, this is the back, right? And then all I have to do is just to take this, place it like this, sew it round, turn it over inside, and then use my glue to iron down this to this part. So guys, the same thing is what I did again. Folded my fabric at the under this here, and then place this on top, marks the neckline. So all I have to do is just to cut this out here. But you see, you will notice that I did not cut open this slit here. I won't cut it open on, like I already cut it open on the fabric, but I'm not going to be cutting it until I sew it on top of this. That way it will not be moving around. The two of them will not be moving. So what I will do now is just to take this here, the same 3 inches of width is what you're going to, 3 inches all the way from the center down. So guys, this is what my facing looks like. So now all I have to do is to open up this one again, like I just showed you guys. Open this one up. Take this here. You try to make sure that this one here is longer by at least extra 3 inches or 2 inches at the bottom, right? For the end of this part here. Don't make it the same length as the slit. So now you're going to take this here, place it on top this way. Sew this all the way. So I'm going to start from here using 1/2 inch to sew it. So use 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch to sew my neckline all the way down. Go down all the way to this point here. Cross over. Come up again like this. Use 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch. Join it like this. You see? So once I finish joining it now, I can slit this top part open. And then I'm going to just take this part here, turn it over, turn it inside, and then use my glue to iron it down. So guys, all I have to do, you see my stitch all the way around to this part came up like this, right? It went something like this. So now all I have to do is just to turn it over. Make sure you cut off this edge here, right? So that it doesn't bulk up on the inside out like this. Bring this out, turn it over to stitch this down. All you have to use is this. Put it in between. But guys, if you don't have this, just go ahead and sew it. There's nothing else you can do. Or you can even use needle and thread to tack it down, like tack it on different points, and then iron it. That way you don't, all we're trying to do here is just to avoid the seam going on top of it, right? So this is what it should be looking like. You see, I've not ironed mine, but this is what the neck is looking like right now. And then for the back, this here, all I have to do is to turn it in like this. Place this one here. You're not going to put the gum first before you join it. Join it then. You see the part where the facing starts. Join this on this side and then join the sleeve together. Once you get to this point, you fold the edge of your sleeve and then sew down. But you remember, we're still going to be inserting our band here. So once you come down from your armhole all the way down, let's say my waist is here, you will notice that that thing at the back is not on the waist. It's like 2 inches below the waist, right on top of her butt, right? So what you're going to do is come down 2 inches from wherever your waist is. If my waist is at 17, I'm going to attach mine at 19. You understand? So then you're going to get a casing like this, about 4.5 inches, depending on the size of your elastic. What you're going to use here is half of your waist. So guys, an easier method of even joining this is just to take one of the shoulder to wrap the other one. You understand? So let's say this side is going to this side, right? So all I have to do is let me put it down so you see. You see what this looks like now. I've done one side already. This is the better method to join the shoulder together because it will help everything lay flat. You see, this is what this looks like right now. You see what my neckline looks like. So, but what I'm saying is how you're going to join the shoulder. That first method I gave you might still be coming out. Although you remember, you still have to use that thing to iron it down. But this second method will not even come out at all because this is what you're going to do. You're going to open up one side. So let's say I want to use the front to cover the back. Open up this. When I say open up, I mean open up the parts with the facing and the cloth itself. And then I'm going to take the back panel, insert it in between these parts this and this, and then turn this over like this and close it up. You understand? Let me show you again. So you see how my facing is. This is what the top looks like. Raise it up like this. I have the facing of the front and the body of the front. This is the facing, this is the body. Take it this way. Insert the shoulder of the back in between, at that point where the two of them meet together, at the point where the front and the facing meet together. Insert it in between there. Cover it back again, and then make a straight stitch on top of it. That way, once you release it up like this, your shoulder will look something like this. You see what this side looks like, and it's not coming out. You see, even if I pull it, it's not coming out because the seam joined my straight seam on top of the shoulder. So this method is even better than the first one I told you guys. So guys, you see I've passed this inside here. So you see when I pull it, this is the most I can get out of it. So you put the elastic inside, close it up on this end, close it up on this end. But guys, what you're going to do is that you're going to take your go to the sewing machine, put it in between and make a stitch in between like this. You can make one at the upper part and then make another one at the lower part, so you have two stitches here. So there's an elastic inside of mine, so I'm going to go ahead now and stitch this down. And then what I'm going to do, like I said, is coming down from your shoulder 2 inches before, 2 inches after your waist, like your waist, your half length. Leave a space there like this. And then now I'm going to take this here, put it in between, sew it close on this end, and then drag it to the other end here and then sew it close. So you see I left a space. This is because I've not made the elastic. If you have your elastic ready, once you come down to this point, insert it and then continue your stitch all the way down. And then before you get to the end, remember to leave a space here about, let's say, about 16 inches, or you can measure from your knee or wherever you want it to be, maybe 2 inches below your knee all the way to your ankle. And then that will be the space you will leave at the end of the dress. So you stitch it double here, and then what you're going to do is just turn it over. So you're going to now use that 1 inch of side seam allowance or 1.5 of side seam allowance. Turn this way, use half an inch to turn it again. Continue your stitch all the way to the end, cross over to this side, and then do the same thing. That way you finish this edge of your clothes, and then you also fold the end, and that's basically it. So guys, if you look at it, you see that now my 1 inch of seam allowance, I folded one on this side away, seam like this, and then I sewed it down this way, folded this other one, connected it just to this side, and that's basically how I did it. So you see, you're going to use that 1 inch of your seam allowance to sew it coming from one end, cross over to the other end, fold that 1 inch of this. The one that you use as your seam allowance inside is what you're now going to use to form the split by the side. So you do it on the two sides, and that's basically it. You see what mine looks like right now. So it's going to pull this to the back. This is basically how it looks. So now this is the front here, you see. So that's basically it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Guys, please like, share and subscribe. Bye.